Please be seated. Good morning to all of you. सारे जहां से अच्छा हिंदू सिता हमारा, हम बुलबुलें हैं इसकी, ये गुल सिता हमारा हमारा. These are the first two lines of the poem सारे जहां से अच्छा, written by the celebrated poet Muhammad Iqbal. Through these two lines, the poet describes Hindustan as the best country in the world. We are its nightingales and it is our garden abode. How beautifully the poet describes our motherland. Esteemed guest Dr. Roy Philip, Managing Trustee, Priority 1 India. Trustees and other members of the School Managing Committee. Honored Chief Guest of the Day, Professor Matthew C. Nainan. Beloved Deputy Director, Mrs. Lali A. Matthew. Respected Principal, Dr. John Thomas. Vice Principals, Head Teachers, and my dear colleagues. Today is a great day for all of us. India is celebrating its 74th Independence Day. We are here to proudly celebrate this on our campus. Let's begin this program by seeking God's blessings through a prayer song followed by Vande Mataram. Please stand. Please be seated. We are quite excited today for one more reason. That is, we are able to hold the very first function in this newly built facility of our school bus terminus. That it is the Independence Day program adds a special charm to today's function. Our Independence Day is the day always people look forward to, as it holds great significance in the life of every Indian. As August 15 approaches, every heart is filled with patriotic exhilaration. It is the very feeling we are all experiencing today. This day reminds us of the thousands of people who laid down their lives for the independence of India. It wouldn't be wrong to say that it is the birthday of free India. Now I request Mrs. Ambika to welcome the gathering.
If the sign on your heart says welcome, love and freedom will come pouring in from everywhere. Esteemed guest Dr. Roy Philip, Managing Trustee, Priority One India, trustees and other members of School Managing Committee, Honored Chief Guest of the Day, Professor Matthew C. Nainen, Deputy Director, Mrs. Lali Abraham Matthew, respected Principal, Dr. John Thomas, Vice Principals, Head Teachers, members of the faculty and staff. Warm greetings to you all. Today is indeed the most auspicious day in the history of our nation, as India has completed 73 years as an independent nation. It's a fact that we are celebrating this day in unusual circumstances and without the presence of our students. But we hope to reach today's proceedings to all of them through the digital medium. So, my first word of welcome will be to all our dear students and their parents. We hope and pray that they are all safe at home. Let me take the privilege to welcome our esteemed guest, Dr. Roy Philip, Managing Trustee, Priority One India, who is our well-wisher and stands by us in all our endeavors. A hearty welcome to you, sir. I request Mr. Jeevan Rodriguez to offer a bouquet to Dr. Roy Philip as a token of our love and respect. Thank you, sirs. The trustees and other members of the School Managing Committee always extend their support in our endeavors. I welcome each one of them. Greatness is not found in position, power, position or prestige. It is discovered in goodness, humility, service or character, said William Arthur Ward. This quote has always been one of my favorites, as it speaks about our role in serving others, and it also connects me to the greatness of our beloved director, Professor Matthew C. Nainen. Sir, we are delighted to have you as our chief guest today. On behalf of everyone present here, I accord a cordial welcome to you. May I request Mrs. Vijaya Bhatt to offer a bouquet to our dear sir as a token of love and respect. Our esteemed Deputy Director, Mrs. Lali Abraham Matthew, believes in simple living and high thinking. A hearty welcome to you, Madam. I extend a genial welcome to our respected Principal, Dr. John Thomas, who builds confidence and instills a lot of learning in all of us. A warm welcome to you, sir. I wholeheartedly welcome our Vice Principals and our Head Teachers, who are a source of motivation to each one of us in all our endeavors. Working in teams increases collaboration, and the sharing of ideas can go a long way in giving teams a productive boost. Every member of the faculty and staff contributes to the collective efforts of our school to provide quality education to the children who come in our direction. Even during the present crisis, we work hand in hand to deliver the best possible education to our children. A loving welcome to all the members of the faculty and staff. Once again, a cheerful welcome to you all.
Thank you, teacher, for your warm welcome. Our tricolor is the symbol of our national pride and identity. Now it is the time for the most important part of today's program, the flag hoisting. I request our esteemed guest, Dr. Roy Philip, to unfurl the national flag. I request our principal, Dr. John Thomas, to escort him to the flag mast.
All group, attention! Flag salute! Salute!
I request our principal to escort back the guests to the dais. Now, may I call upon our chief guest, Professor Matthew C. Nainan.
Good morning. Let me greet every one of you, members of the Little Rock family, on this auspicious occasion of yet another Independence Day. When I address you today, I have in my mind our children. That's all our students and their parents. I hope they will be watching today's proceedings on YouTube a little while later. Our school grounds have two segments now, as you have seen. This upper level has pavilions now on all four sides, which form the school bus terminus. We did not have this facility until now, so the buses didn't have enough space to park both in the morning and in the evening. This is the very first occasion when we use this new facility, the school bus terminus. This is the upper ground. That it is the Independence Day celebrations today adds significance, and it's a pleasant coincidence. Behind this pavilion is our new ground taking shape. It will be a much larger ground than the one we had earlier. This will have gallery on three sides, and one of which will be a covered pavilion which is just behind this dais now. We will have a spacious playground over there, and that will get completion soon after the monsoon. I am very happy that most of our trustees and members of the school managing committee are present here today on our special invitation. And all of these things make today's program significant. And as I am addressing the students and parents, they are in front of my mind's eye. So naturally my speech will be more to connect with the students and their parents. Today is a day when we recall and realize the value of our democracy and the freedom that we have come to enjoy today. We all have heard that it has been a hard-won freedom. After long struggles and hardships and the sacrifices of a whole generation of people, And this is the day we pay tribute to the freedom fighters who laid down their lives in some cases for the good of the country. We also know that just last year we have celebrated the 150th birth anniversary of Gandhiji, who led the freedom struggle in a non-violent manner. This is something unique in the history of the world. A country gains freedom from foreign rule. After a few hundred years of foreign rule, a country gains freedom, independence, through the non-violent movement of Gandhiji. Today we therefore salute all those people who sacrificed their lives to gain freedom for our country. None of us in this audience had come into this world at that time, when on the midnight of 14th August 1947 we gained independence. That's before all of us were born. Let me recall the words of the first Prime Minister, Jawaharlal Nehru, whose destiny speech is very well known. It is popularly known as the Tryst with Destiny speech. Let me just read out a portion of that speech. I quote, "Long years ago we made a tryst with destiny, and now the time comes when we shall redeem our pledge, not wholly or in full measure, but very substantially. At the stroke of the midnight hour, when the world sleeps, India will awake to life and freedom. A moment comes, which comes but rarely in history, when we step out from the old to the new, when an age ends and when the soul of a nation, long suppressed, finds utterance. It is fitting that at this solemn moment we take the pledge of dedication to the service of India and her people and to the still larger cause of humanity." Let me read that last part of it again. It's fitting that at this solemn moment we take the pledge of dedication to the service of the nation and her people and to the still larger cause of humanity. Independence Day celebrations often goes around the past. It focuses on the freedom struggle and what we have achieved thereafter. And this we have heard umpteen times. So I would like to make a departure from this and say something about the present and the future. The present, as you know, is quite bleak. We are under the shadow of the pandemic COVID-19. There is a pall of gloom and fear everywhere. We have come face to face with some of the nightmarish experiences these 4+ months. Lots of people have lost their jobs, their business, even their livelihood. This we have come face to face, in the sense that many of our parents are unable to pay the school fees because of this situation. In such an ominous scenario, we are celebrating this Independence Day without our children with us. First time we are doing it, something we never had imagined. So it is not a full celebration. Perhaps we would call this an observance of Independence Day, of course with all its seriousness and solemnity. But somewhere at the back of our minds there is this feeling that it is incomplete. The school today wears a deserted look without children. We do miss them. Today, for instance, we should have witnessed a brilliant march past by the NCCs and the Scouts and Guides. And I am sure, though the children will be watching today's program, they will also miss their school and the life at school with their classmates and teachers. I know that I am presenting a dismal picture, but it's not all that desperate a situation. Is there still some hope? Yes, there is. As they say, all is not lost. We can still weather this storm. We shall overcome. We should have this faith that we will prevail, and the God Almighty there will take care of us, and we will come out of this not just unscathed but successful. We are a blessed nation. We have vast resources, both human and physical. In all respects, we are cut out to be a very, very successful country. We have all the ingredients of a prosperous nation. But there is still some lacunae somewhere. Perhaps it is because we have not understood the value of the freedom that we have got. We haven't learned how to use our freedom with responsibility. As a nation, we have only been mindful of our rights, and we have been oblivious of our duties. Democracy has endowed us with certain rights, of course, but alongside has some duties as well. The problem we face today is that people are obsessed with their rights and forgetful of their duties. Do we really value our freedom? We sometimes use our freedom wantonly without considering how it impacts on others. We need to know the limits of our freedom. There is a popular saying, your freedom ends where my nose begins. Whereas somebody has the right to rotate a stick in their hand, that freedom or that stick should not come and hit my nose. There ends that freedom. There are many areas where we fall short, far short. One is national integration. We called ourselves a single nation, and we have so many languages, different religions. All the religions that you can find in the world has a place here in our country. We have hundreds of languages, though only a handful of languages find reference in the Constitution. We have many hundred languages, including all the dialects put together. Nobody knows the exact count. It's all over 1,000. In such a nation of diversities, integration is not easy. But we have achieved some sort of political integration. That's all. Even that political integration is being questioned from time to time. But have we got what's called an emotional integration? It is very doubtful. Nehru always used to speak about unity in diversity, but that is still a distant dream. The Constitution also has mentioned secularism, and you know secularism is under terrible strain these days, and these are all the avowed ideals of our democracy, but these ideals have never been reached, and that is where we are lagging behind. We ought to live as a peaceful nation without domestic walls of religion, language, caste, creed, and so on, but we still have all these divisions. We should have those universal values to guide us. We all, irrespective of religions, we all value these great noble ideals. We call them universal values, the values of love, truth, justice, and compassion. These four values are beyond all religions, or they are encompassed by all religions. But we still are a far cry from all of these things. And one thing is for certain, our future generation can survive only if these values, these universal values are upheld. They should be our signposts. Today, we are in the midst of a colossal crisis. This came as a bolt from the blue. And on this day, especially in the context of this crisis, we need to rededicate ourselves and see how best we can organize our personal lives and our immediate institutional life. That's our immediate concern. Because we can't do a lot about the whole country, but we can do some small things in relation to our own immediate environs. As Mother Teresa used to say, we can't all do great things, but we can do small things with great love. So our first and foremost duty today is to do our part as well as we can, honestly. Work hard and with honesty. If honesty and hard work are the talisman of all of us, we can achieve a lot of things in this world and in our immediate context. Our immediate context is a school without children, something we could never have imagined. We had once a slogan, school is for children, and another time, every child matters. And all these slogans are now in the thin air. We do not know what all that means. UNESCO says 1.3 billion children are affected because of the school closure. 1.3 billion. And there is an organization called Save the Children, and they have estimated that at least 10 million children will drop out of schools because of this prolonged closure. This 10 million is all over the world. And there is a rough estimate that a few lakh children from India will be dropping out of schools because of this prolonged closure. This is a very, very serious matter. Such a large number of children are going to drop out of schools. So we as a school, we decided that this learning continuum, this learning rhythm should not be disrupted. That's why we took on online classes in all earnest. And we have been doing pretty well by introducing online teaching. Our teachers were not ready for such a thing. This is an entirely new exercise for them. But during the last 3 months, we have been able to perfect this art of online teaching. And our teachers have not only mastered the technology involved, they have also learned to teach a class without a single student being present. To emote in a class without children is not an easy thing, but they have learned to do it. And we have seen how well our teachers perform. I get to see the videos of our teachers teaching in classes, and I used to feel very proud of our teachers, because I think they have gone a level above. This crisis has become a blessing in disguise for them, because they have been able to relearn the entire art of teaching. They are approaching the whole thing entirely differently. It was a terrific experience to start with. It was almost what you call a rebirth for them. They had to be reborn to be efficient, effective teachers. It was like a baptism by fire, but they have gone through it successfully, and they have come out really successful, and they have done a marvelous job. And that has been testified by our students and parents. And it is very clearly seen by the number of admissions that have happened even during this crisis. Most schools are reporting no new admissions, but we still have people waiting for admissions. And we have crossed the 3,500 mark now. We still have people wanting admissions. I'm sure it's because of the effective delivery of these online classes. But there is another side to the whole story. That is, as I said earlier, many parents who are unable to pay the school fees. But we have taken a position that not a single child should lose school on account of the parents' inability to pay fees. So we have announced that any parent who has a difficulty in making fee payment could approach us, and we will try our best to help them out. Now, by a rough estimate, at least 200 to 225 students or parents have received concessions. Some of the parents, of course, have got more than one child. So it's a large number. A large number of children have been given 50% concession, some of them 75% concession, a very few of them 100% concession too. And we have also at the same time made an appeal to our present parents, our well-to-do parents, also to support this cause. We have initiated what is called FMCF, for my child's friend. It's a benevolent fund to support these parents in distress. And many parents are paying either a certain amount along with the children's fees, or a one-time upfront payment. So as of today, from the well-to-do parents and the alumni, we have received nearly 6 lakhs. And there are parents who have promised to pay every month, and that promise is, at the moment, it is 47,500. Every month they have promised to pay this amount. More of them might join in later. We have now approached our alumni too. We have made an appeal to our alumni, and the moment our alumnus or alumni, when they come across this kind of an appeal, it has an instant response. I have seen this happening. A letter reaches them, and the very same day they make an online payment. On Wednesday, I received a message from one of our old students from Atlanta, USA, asking me details of the bank account through which he could make a payment. And I sent him the bank details. Within a few hours, he has sent through bank 50,000 rupees. Yet another student also has written and paid 50,000 rupees. 2 old students have already paid 50,000 each. There are many who have paid 20, 15, 10 and so on. Then some students, old students, asked us to prepare a flyer which can be easily posted in the various social media, which we have done now, because they think that not many will go to your website and see what is put there as a message. Instead, if a flyer is prepared, a colorful flyer with the brief message of this kind, it will reach any number of them in record time. And so we have prepared a brochure or a flyer, and we hope that it will reach a large number of alumni. If this campaign is successful, we might be the only school where the alumni come forward to educate the children coming from distressed families. It will be a record. As of now, all these signal to a positive development. On the one hand, we have a considerable reduction in the school fee income, but what is most satisfying is that we are able to stand by these parents. Some of these parents, if we had not stepped in, would have been driven to utter desperation, and thereafter we don't know. Things can be so bad because suddenly one finds oneself thrown into a dark abyss where there is nothing, no hope, absolutely no hope, and we have come face to face this reality. So we find that we are able to support such a large number of parents who are doing this, and not a single child has been withdrawn, at least on account of their inability to pay the fees. There might be other transfers, but as of now that is where it stays. Coming back to our present arrangement of online classes, our teachers have risen to the occasion and they are doing a good job. And they are, I think, spending more time preparing for their lessons, looking for materials, teaching aids and so on. I remember the words of Abraham Lincoln, who said, "Give me 6 hours to chop down a tree, and I will use the first 4 hours grinding my axe, sharpening my axe. I'll repeat, give me 6 hours to chop down a tree, and I will take the first 6 hours, out of it 4 hours I will do that for sharpening my axe, which is what our teachers are doing. So on the whole, though a dismal situation, we are able to do the best for the children who are with us. I want the parents to be with their children at this time. Have patience with your children. When your children are always with you, you may have a tendency to sometimes get irritated and lose your patience. And that is not going to be very productive. You need to encourage your children. You can be firm with them where necessary. Make sure that they attend their classes. Make sure that they attend to the assignments and do the tests and so on. But be with them, because we don't want your children to join the ranks of the dropouts I mentioned in the first part of my speech. We want them to have this continuum. We want them to have this continuous learning, and there should not be an interruption. Even when school reopens, we may not reopen in a full-fledged manner. It would be what they call a hybrid or a blended mode, where some days they come to school, some days they will attend classes online. So this mode of learning or teaching is going to continue for a long time. But let me end on a note of hope. Let me close on this hope that next Independence Day we will celebrate with great cheer and happiness. When all is well, we shall awake to a new India. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. You have elated the spirit of freedom in all of us through your inspiring words. A grateful heart is a magnet for miracles. As we have come to the end of this program, I request Mrs. Sunita Priscilla D'Souza to propose the vote of thanks.
A very good morning to you all. Esteemed Managing Trustee of Priority One India, Dr. Roy Phillip, Trustees and members of the School Managing Committee, Honored Chief Guest of the Day, Professor Matthew C. Nainan, Director of Little Rock Indian School, Deputy Director Mrs. Lali A. Matthew, Principal Dr. John Thomas, Vice Principals, Head Teachers, and my dear colleagues. On this occasion, as we celebrate the 74th Independence Day, I deem it my proud privilege to propose a vote of thanks. First and foremost, let me express my deep sense of gratitude to the Managing Trustee of Priority One India, Dr. Roy Phillip, for his gracious presence and for unfurling the national flag. Thank you, sir. I thank all the trustees and members of the School Managing Committee for being with us on this special occasion. The encouraging presence and inspiring words of our director, Professor Matthew C. Nainan, have added charm to this morning's celebrations. Thank you, sir. I wholeheartedly acknowledge the presence of our Deputy Director, Mrs. Lali A. Matthew, on this occasion and thank her profusely. A word of gratitude to our Principal, Dr. John Thomas, who guides us and shows keen interest in all our endeavors. Thank you, sir. I express my sincere thanks to the Vice Principals, Mrs. Julie S. L. Lewis and Mr. Hari Krishna D. for their valuable suggestions for the smooth conduct of today's program. Thank you, Madam and Sir. I place on record a word of gratitude to all the head teachers, and members of the staff for their cooperation and support. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, teacher, for those words of gratitude. Now I request the school choir to sing a Thanksgiving song, followed by a special song dedicated to all the students. These songs have added charm to today's celebrations. We owe our gratitude to all the freedom fighters who sacrificed their lives for the nation, and it is our duty to continue the legacy of doing something great to the next generation. Today, our country is in a great crisis due to the horrific pandemic. And I wish and pray that we shall overcome this crisis victoriously. May our India be free from the pandemic very soon. With freedom in the mind, faith in words, and pride in our souls, let's salute the nation on this Independence Day. May the tricolor of my country flutter very high. With these words, I conclude. Thank you very much.